Hey guys, Michael Majors here, ready for my deck tech with Jeskai Black that I'm going to be doing battle against Ross Miriam today. So on the surface, this isn't too crazy of a Jeskai Black deck. If you've been playing this standard format, then you're probably familiar with most of the cards here. We have the kind of normal creature package of Jace Friends Prodigy and Soulfire Grandmaster, some spot removal, Fiery Impulse, Roast, and then kind of the big hitters, Crackling Doom, Painful Truce, and then the supplementary spells like Kolaghan's Command, Murderous Cut, and Utter End. So the big takeaway of Oath of the Gatewatch and configuring this Jeskai Black deck is that I really want to try out Crush of Tentacles. I think it's an extremely powerful card for being able to catch Jeskai Black up against a variety of strategies. In the past, Jeskai Black has had some issues with Gideon Ally of Zendikar, and I think Crush of Tentacles does a big service in helping against that card, especially when you can turn on its Surge and make an 8/8. And so a lot of the small nuances of like constructing this Jeskai Black deck was trying to turn on the Surge cost. And to that effect, I have moved towards Magnetic Insight. If you're familiar with like the old Blue-Red Sphinx's Tutelage deck, a big part of that deck's engine was Magnetic Insight plus Treasure Cruise. And I think that probably the best way to enable Crush of Tentacles in a reliable manner, especially when you're not able to kill creatures, is going to be Magnetic Insight or Treasure Cruise or other delve spells. So one thing you might notice is that we're not playing Monastery Mentor like other Jeskai Black decks. I think Crush of Tentacles is going to, I hesitate to say replace it, but it's going to serve a similar role in being this catch-up / win condition. And Monastery Mentor obviously doesn't play particularly well with Crush. As far as the mana base goes, it's kind of your very standard Jeskai Black mana base. We have 11 fetch lands, Mystic Monasteries, 5 battle lands, 2 Shambling Vents, which have become a staple of the archetype, and then 5 basics. But what I do have is I've added a 27th land to complement the 3 Magnetic Insights, and that land is going to be the new Oath of the Gatewatch creature land, Wandering Fumarole. So I'm excited to play with Crush of Tentacles. I hope it works out, and you can join me in a second for the sideboard. Hey guys, we're back for the sideboard of the Jeskai Black. So right at the top we can see I have 4 new Oath of the Gatewatch cards. Again, a third copy of Crush of Tentacles, which I think in particular is going to be very good against Ross Miriam's strategy and other mid-range decks. I think we might want a third copy. Reflector Mage is an incredibly interesting new card. It's kind of a more powerful mana war, which is not something that we're too used to seeing in Standard. I think it's going to be very effective against these like lower to the ground mid-range decks or just actual aggressive decks. Especially against cards like Inoffensive the Foremost or even Siege Rhino. It's rare for a bounce effect to be effective against Siege Rhino, but the fact that your opponent can't replay the card immediately means that Reflector Mage, I think, is going to be pretty awesome. Linval the Preserver is just a really powerful like culmination of stats. It's kind of flashy. It's 6 mana 5/5. It stabilizes the board by both giving you life and another creature. I think she's just going to be a staple finisher for lots of control slanted decks. Over here, we kind of have just the more normal stuff that you might be used to seeing. We have Roast, Radiant Flames for killing aggressive creatures, some negates, dispels, and duress. Duress especially because we don't have any of that kind of disruption in the main deck because we're trying to support Crush of Tentacles. And then we got this spicy little number, some Sphinx's Tutelages. Obviously, we have a little bit more draw power than a normal Jeskai Black does with Magnetic Insight and Treasure Cruise. So I think Sphinx's Tutelage would be a pretty powerful addition in any kind of like mirror match. So I think we're ready to get to the games.